At the Moscow airport, British and Russian flags herald the arrival of Mr. Churchill. There were many high officials present to greet the Premier, including Sir Archibald Clark-Kerr, the British ambassador to Russia, followed by his American counterpart, Mr. Averell Harriman. Soon afterwards, Mr. Molotov, the Commissar for Foreign Affairs, also arrived to wait for Mr. Churchill. An old friend of Britain was present in the person of the former Soviet ambassador, Mr. Ismay, now Mr. Molotov's deputy. The Premier, complete with cigar, was looking thoroughly fit and happy after his long flight from England, which had followed so quickly on his arrival from Quebec. Mr. Molotov welcomed him warmly on behalf of Marshal Stalin. As we all know, the Foreign Secretary accompanied Mr. Churchill, but matters of international business were to be discussed. The question of Soviet-Polish relations, for one thing, and to advise on the military side, Field Marshal Sir Alan Brooke and General Sir Hastings Ismay were there too. Then the two anthems were played. This, by the way, is the first time we've recorded the new Soviet anthem at a ceremonial occasion. Following that, there was a march past of Red Army units, men who, to quote Mr. Churchill's own words, have torn the guts out of the filthy Nazis. After the march past, Mr. Churchill had something to say about this, his latest visit to Russia.
This is the second time I have landed on this airfield in Moscow during the progress of this fell and bloody war. More than 2 years have passed since I was last here. But they have been 2 years of unbroken victory. The Russian armies, the armies of the Soviet Union, have struck enormous blows. They have broken the spirit and the structure of the German army. We too, for our part, the United States and the British Commonwealth of Nations, have exerted ourselves to the utmost. And it shall be for you to say whether we have struck heavy blows or not. I come here on a tide of hope, on a tide of assurance that victory will be won, that it will not be indefinitely withheld, and of hope that when it is won, we shall all of us endeavor to make the world a better place for the great masses of human beings to live in.
Then on to the Kremlin for talks with Marshal Stalin. This time, we are told, the prosecution of the war took second place. Post-war planning for peace and security in Europe is equally important now that the battle is reaching the final phase. But like this previous meeting in the Kremlin,